What is going on, everyone? Nostalgia 925 coming at you with the second episode of the Mythological Conversations. In case you do not know what this series is all about, you see, the Digimon franchise took a lot of inspiration from mythological creatures that really were worshipped or feared through time. That is why I began this new series, to mainly focus on these mythological entities, to know more about them. In the Explaining Gatomon Digivolution line video, I mentioned a Digimon called Lilithmon, a demon lord of lust, often regarded as the goddess of darkness. Her design and inspiration derives from an ancient woman named Lilith. Who is that woman called Lilith? I am convinced that most of you are aware of the story of Adam and Eve. According to the creation myth of the Abrahamic religions, they were the first man and woman. God fashioned the man Adam from dust and placed him in the Garden of Eden, which is a place considered to be mythological by most scholars. I'd like to apologize beforehand because I might deviate several times in this video. I must say that I got even more curious about the existence of this holy garden. Some believe it to be real, others do not. Some believe it to be terrestrial, and some believe it to be heavenly. There seems to be a lacking consensus. In Jewish eschatology, the scholars agree that there are two types of spiritual places called Garden in Eden. The first is rather terrestrial, of abundant fertility and luxuriant vegetation, and the second is envisioned as being celestial. It is envisioned to be the habitation of righteous, Jewish and non-Jewish immortal souls. In the Islamic view, the garden is commonly known as the fourth layer of the Islamic heaven, so there are many variations. However, despite the differences, the narrative in that mysterious garden remained the same. God created Adam from dust and told him that he can eat freely of all the trees in the garden, except for one, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Subsequently, God created Eve from one of Adam's ribs to become Adam's companion. To make a long story short, a serpent deceives Eve into eating the fruit from the forbidden tree, and she gives some of the fruit to Adam. By eating the fruit, Adam and Eve got additional knowledge, but it also gave them the ability to conjure negative and destructive concepts such as shame and evil. So God banished them from the garden because of their sin of disobeying their very creator. The Almighty also cursed the serpent, and it is in fact that same serpent that is also a source of many theories. Many stories say that she either became the serpent that tempted Adam and Eve, or it worked with her. It is also said that she became the bride of Satan, and her children are the succubi and incubi that still torment the children of her former husband to this day. In the alphabet of Ben Sirach, which is an anonymous medieval text, it is written that God created Adam, and because it felt that it was not good to have a man standing by himself, it also created a woman called Lilith. If it is indeed the case that the serpent is in fact the woman named Lilith, then that would mean that Eve is not the first woman. Immediately the two began to fight. Lilith, in this context, the first woman, said the following: "I will not lie below." Adam replied by saying that he would not lie beneath her, but only on top, as in his eyes, Lilith was only fit to be in the bottom position. "We are equal to each other, inasmuch as we were both created from the earth," said Lilith. And after pronouncing the ineffable name, she flew away into the air. After Adam's prayer, the Almighty sent angels to bring Lilith back. If she would agree to return, she would be considered as good. If not, then she had to permit 100 of her children to die every day, and she accepted. As Julian Rodriguez pretty much summed it up in the Nostalgia 925 community page, Lilith was the first wife of Adam. She refused to be subservient to him and left Eden. The comment goes further, giving us bits of information. She then mated with fallen angels and gave birth to the first demons. She later became Satan's consort and the queen of hell. She rules over a class of demons called succubi, who specialize in seducing people. Speaking of angels, Lilith had coupled with the archangel Samael. In Jewish lore, he is considered as the main archangel of death and remains one of God's servants, even though he condones the sins of men. Maybe an interesting fact, while in Christian demonology, Samael is sometimes regarded as a powerful demon, in Judaism he is still that same angel of death but earned the title Satan. Until the late 20th century, the demon Lilith, Adam's first wife, had a fearsome reputation as a kidnapper and murderer of children and seducer of men. In the Zohar, which is the foundational work in the literature of Jewish mystical thought, her demonic sexuality comes to the fore as she attempts to seduce men and use their seed to create bodies for her demonic children. Extreme wrote the following in the Nostalgia 9 to 5 community page. Lilith got censored in the New Testament. In the original older ones, the story is still fully found. The story of the woman named Lilith has indeed been censored from the Christian Bible. However, the Holy Book does mention her in Isaiah chapter 34 verse 14, which says the following: Wildcats shall meet with hyenas, goat demons shall call to each other. There too Lilith shall repose and find a place to rest. Now, out of curiosity, I was wondering why this story of Lilith was left out. How come that the character has gone missing from the Bible? There is a source, which I will put the link in the description, that gave the following explanation. Lilith is said to have been the first woman in the world and was created by God at the same time as he created Adam. It is said that Lilith was then banished and rejected by God after it was found that she was stronger and more intelligent than Adam, and she would not obey the commands of Adam. The character was not mentioned in the Bible to understand the origin of humanity, as Lilith was said to go against the tradition of the church in that women must obey a man, and women were in lower position than men. I must say that from a critical perspective, this does put the Bible and the church on separate platforms. Both have to be analyzed separately instead of together. I don't believe that they should be analyzed as if they were two pieces on the same coin, as certain chapters have been, from what I could read, purposely left out, and apparently there are other chapters in the Bible that are also being kept secret. Maybe I should dig deeper, but this does make me wonder why some of the characters or stories are left out. Why and who is responsible? I have a rather dark comment of Gretis Tigra, who wrote the following in the Nostalgia 9 to 5 community page. One part of the story of Lilith, that by the way was removed like many other things from the Bible, even though it's not supposed to, Lilith was believed to be the cause of young boys having nocturnal emissions, and it is also said that she is the cause of stillborn children, particularly stillborn male children. There is certainly a lot of evil associated to the woman named Lilith. However, it appears that she is respected by certain groups. Currently, some feminists identify with Lilith because they associate her with freedom, unrestrained sexual activity, and independence from the male authority, ignoring her dark aspects. To give an example, there is a Jewish feminist magazine called Lilith Magazine. As said Susan Weidman-Schneider, the magazine is made to foster discussions of Jewish women's issues and put them on the agenda of the Jewish community, with a view to giving women, who are more than 50% of the world's Jews, a greater choice in Jewish life. This is the end of the video, my good friends. I really hope you enjoyed this second episode of the Mythological Conversations. At least now you know the inspiration that created Lilithmon, a Digimon or creature in basically a kid-friendly show. That is why I love exploring Digimon, as it has way more inspiration than I myself can think of. That is why I'm going to look after all these mythological creatures and analyze them like I did in this video, like I did in the previous video where I talked about the Yamata no Orochi. In case you are new, you have to know that all my mythological conversation videos are placed in the mythological playlist, which is always updated. That way you can catch up on newer and older videos. Please don't forget to subscribe and join the Nostalgia 9 to 5 crew. There is really a bunch of things that I'm going to explore. I really love doing it. That is why I really hope that you guys will be with me, with us. And as you've seen, it is your comments that guided me through the research. Thank you, my good friends. Please never hesitate to drop a comment.